back, and we're talking with an old partner of ours, Chad Oliverson. Chad is you are Arts Alliance Tulsa, Chad, as far as I'm concerned. You're in a kind of a peculiar quandary right now. You're talking live arts for all ages, but especially the very young. And we have COVID. How do you marry the two?
Well, it's a rocky marriage from the get-go.
Yeah.
This is a really tough subject, and I'm glad we're talking about it, and it needs to be talked about. So we look at what happened in 2020 when this pandemic hit, and we saw the arts come to, performing arts specifically, and visual arts museums come to a standstill, honestly. I mean, it's a $900 billion industry that was ground to a standstill because people couldn't go in. Now, we thought that would change. And so there were a lot of virtual attempts at performing arts where you would have readings online through Zoom, or some people, if they were public rights to a play and they didn't have to pay for rights to a play, it's a Shakespearean piece, they might do a Shakespearean thing as a virtual. And we saw a long phase of that happening as people tried to stay relevant and tried to keep the arts out there during this shutdown of our community, right? We all anticipated that this would lift much sooner than it did. We didn't see Delta. Well, some people saw it coming. The people who know, the scientists, they told us we're not out of the woods. And now we have Omicron. Omicron right now, if we look at Tulsa, we have last week 7,000 cases reported, new cases, and the week before that was 1,000 cases.
Yeah, and I was looking at the numbers this morning. It's scary. And the health experts here are saying, hey, you know what? We're all going to get it, which is not the kind of news you want to wake up to with a cup of coffee.
No, it's absolutely not. When you're hearing from the scientists that we're all going to get it, okay. And there are people who look at it, Sam, that, oh, well, we all get the cold, we all get the flu. Yeah, we do.
And the COVID parties where people are coming together in an attempt to get it on purpose. I don't understand the logic there.
Look, I understand that we will all be exposed to this as we were influenza A, influenza B, and the common cold. And as we look throughout history at all the different plagues and viruses and all those things that have happened, yes, we have been exposed and we will come out on the other side, right? But we don't have to push it toward happening, and we need to prepare ourselves for that, taking as many things into effect as possible, masking, social distancing, and vaccines, for those who will do that.
I don't understand. I don't understand why it's been politicized so much. It just makes absolutely no sense. How are the parents of the young ones reacting toward involvement in the arts now? Are they hesitant to let their young ones become involved? What are you seeing?
Well, Sam, I think much like our country is, there's a division in how that is viewed. There are some people who have no problem with that whatsoever. And then there are parents who are like, I want to wait till this wave crests and we start seeing a decline before I put, for instance, I've been cast in a show that was supposed to open in February. Because it's equity and has other rules that are put on it other than just community theater, which is still professional theater. Don't misunderstand me.
Sure.
Just a union, okay? Not better, just different. But we couldn't do it. So it is postponed till April, providing that there's, we have an open window to do that. So parents, how they're reacting is the same way the country's reacting. Like I said, some parents, yeah, go do it. Other parents, I don't think so. So we have shows happening, Sam. We have shows opening tomorrow with children in them, and later this month and next month, as well as people of all ages. How do I react to that personally, and how do I react to that as my job are often two different things.
I
Um,
can sympathize with where you're coming from. It would strike me, uh, there is so much young talent out there,
yeah.
and there's interesting here. There's a lot of older talent that's never been tapped,
Yes.
and
Yes.
when you reach for that older talent and say, "Hey, you want to try?" and then, "Oh well, you know what? I'm retired. Sure, why not?" And then all of a sudden, we get hit with COVID.
And it's so true. It's been it was full stop, and now we're stop, start, pause. Some push forward, some pull way back. You know, it's really up to the individual company, and then it's up to the individuals who wish to perform with that company if they want to take that risk. There are some who have very stringent guidelines. You must come in with a vaccination card, you must be masked. All of the facilities that you would go to, whether it be visual performing, have guidelines, or you have to wear a mask.
Sure.
Those are in place, but you're rehearsing with somebody for 4 to 5 hours a night. You're not keeping that social distancing, and you're not in a mask. Or I would hasten to say you're not in a mask if you're singing all the time and you're talking all the time. So one person has it, it spreads through the cast.
Yeah. The very nature of the arts, I mean, it just mandates that there has to be free expression, which means close encounters, which means, wait a minute, we got to do this without a mask. Have you had a booster? Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
exactly right. I mean, the arts are a communal thing. That is the point of performing arts, is to have that bond with the audience, to show the interaction on stage, connecting with another actor or singer or whatever it is. And that's the beauty. That's what sets the performing arts apart. And that is why it's going to be the slowest recovery in other industries. The arts are probably, I think they say takes 6 months after a pandemic would start for arts to get back to a normal place. We're not even at the end of the pandemic yet.
No. And one thing we haven't talked about, when you really examine the arts, I mean, it's one thing to say, yep, we're talking creativity, we're talking freedom of expression, but you're also talking business.
Yes,
And
it is a business.
That means tax dollars. That means it's like any other business in a way, but there's money involved. There is a business element, and people who run the various entities that your organization, in fact, help, have to embrace the fact that it is a business. And without that recognition, they're dead in the water.
You're dead on again. It is show business, right? And we're talking, again, this is an over a $900 billion business. I mean, if we look at the losses, and this is from Americans for the Arts, up until July of 21, and I think the study was from February to July, we lost $18 billion from the arts economy. But now what that translates into, and you have to remember this, because we think, oh, well, the arts lost $18 billion. Yes, but what did other industries lose because of that? $17.6 billion. And I'm talking restaurants, hotels, retail, your babysitter. They are all affected because the arts are one of the biggest stimulators of an economy. So when a show is canceled, you can lose, by a study recently, as I guess it was just released actually 2 days ago from Americans for the Arts, $6 billion was lost to local government from having to cancel shows that would start.
That's nationwide.
Yeah, that would start, and then somebody would get COVID. They have to shut the show down, and we're seeing that across the board, right? A Broadway show opens, it closes. A local show opens, it closes. It opens, it closes. And so each of those closures, it's costing our local governments. It's costing our retail. It's costing parking garages, restaurants, you name it. And then people lose jobs because they're losing money. So it's a snowball effect. this is a business, and there's a lot of money involved in it, and these groups can't recover that money, and we have to keep them afloat to keep our economy afloat and our quality of life afloat. That's part of the reason Arts Alliance is here. And if they can't go see the shows, what happens? We don't have those ticket sales. We don't have people buying the materials for costumes. Again, another snowball into other industries, into textiles, into technicians, into everybody that makes a show happen. It's not just what you see on stage or what you see on the canvas. It's everything beneath that that builds the economy, that creates jobs, that is affecting our education system, that is affecting our basic quality of life. And I could go on for that for another 40 minutes, but I'm going to stop, Sam, because you only have one.
We got about a minute and a half, and one more thing I want to plug into here. I hope and pray that the news we're hearing from the doctors and the scientists is accurate. I hope they're on top of this the way we think they are, and the politicians will stay out of the way and let them do their business. But it seems as though there is a breakthrough on the horizon. Now, you can say, well, look, Sam, a breakthrough is wear a mask. Yeah, that's part of it. But 2 drug companies have stepped up and said, you know what? We're going to have a pill for you when the first part of next month. That's about 2.5 weeks away. That's a major breakthrough, and that could be a boon to this entire problem.
It is, and it's amazing how far we've come in our science and our ability to do this. If you look at the plagues of the past, and I know we don't have much time, great things came out of those, along with all the horrible things that happened. The Renaissance was born from a plague and a mass loss.
And look what came out of the Inquisition. I mean, if that was just a little party that got out of hand. Remember,
it did get out of hand. It did. It you know,
Chad, we're out of time, buddy. I might have to get you back over here. When things start to loosen up, when we start to come together again, I'd like to get a camera crew and come over and shoot one of the rehearsals that you could recommend for us. Deal?
Yes, do it. And the arts will survive. It survived everything anybody has thrown at it through history. It will be here with your help.
We'll get there and bump fists together.
That's
Chad
right.
Oliverson, thank you, my friend, and we appreciate your taking time to visit with us.
Thank
you.
We're
We're all out of time, folks. We'll see you again next week.